everyone. Welcome back for day 2 of English for You's article about Chinese American restaurants. I'm Kat.
And I'm Ben.
And we already talked about kind of like where Chinese American food came from or how it got to the US. So what do you remember about that?
Yeah, well, there was an exception for some certain Chinese people to come to the United States, and then a lot of them started restaurants. So that's how it became the widespread or more widespread of Chinese food in the United States there.
Yeah, exactly. Because if a restaurant is one business that you can open and there's not very many choices, then probably you're going to get a lot of people trying to open it in order to get a better life. Yeah, so I mean, that's what they did, and that's how we got the little Chinese American takeout box that we have now. The little white takeout box with the red lettering. So
we were talking about food last time as well. So the Chinese food in the United States and how there's a mixture of different foods from different cultures, which is called cuisines. So in terms of cuisines, we all have different backgrounds. So each family cooks their own different kind of food from where they came from, their background of the culture. So I want to say, Kat, what is your family known for making? What kind of cuisines or specialty food do you guys have?
I mean, you know, since my family is American, we make a lot of different things. Like there were always times that, you know, we would do experimental kind of stuff. Often it was the same kind of meat and potatoes that you'll find at a lot of American dinners. But I distinctly remember my mom and I would bake a lot.
Really?
Yeah, and she liked to make buttermilk biscuits.
That sounds so good.
Oh,
I can feel the butter in my mouth.
because it uses this really, really buttery, thick, fatty milk that you put in the biscuit mix and you bake them. They get really, really fluffy, and then you put you can put honey or jam or butter on them. Yeah. Oh, I miss those biscuits.
I know. Reminds me of my grandma. My grandma would always make these buttery biscuits, buttery cookies too, and like yellow lamb cake for Easter, which is a holiday we celebrate. And it was just Christmas, we'd go to her house and be a lot of just desserts, and we would just eat so much dessert. So that was the biggest one, just making a lot of sweets, maybe too many sweets, which is a bad thing.
I mean, we love our sweets in the US. Anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit more about what kind of food you can find at a Chinese American restaurant, so that if you're feeling like, what is this mysterious kind of Chinese American food, you can know what you're going to expect if you go to a Chinese American restaurant. So let's go ahead and check out the article.
Reading.
The story behind American Chinese restaurants. Much of the food served by Chinese American restaurants was created in the US, not China. For example, a popular menu item is General Tso's chicken. This dish is made by chopping up chicken into pieces and then breading and frying them. The fried chicken is then coated in a thick sauce that's both sweet and spicy. It's sometimes said to have gotten its name from a Qing-era general, Zuo Zongtang. The dish was created a long time after his death, however, so he couldn't have had anything to do with it. Chop suey is another famous dish. This mix of various ingredients is believed to have come from zashui, a dish from Guangdong. It's also said that a chef invented it when he combined leftovers for customers at closing time. Whichever story is true, though, we don't know. Of course, it would be a crime not to mention fortune cookies. These are served after a meal at almost every Chinese restaurant in the US. They have a small strip of paper inside them, on which a prediction about the future is printed.
Alright, so let's take a look at the article. Now it says much of the food served by Chinese American restaurants was created in the US, not China.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, it was created by Chinese American people.
Exactly.
But just not in China.
Yeah, just Americanized cuisine food. Yeah,
they probably wanted it to make it so that, you know, it would appeal to more people and wouldn't seem so odd.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. More American people. It's different kind of...
It's a little more broad. For example, a popular menu item is General Tso's chicken. Or General Tso's, as they would say.
People pronounce it different ways. It's kind of like an orange chicken. It's very deep fried. And that's good breading. But anyway, this dish is made up by chopping up chicken into pieces and then breading and frying them. You see
so it's
them
fried chicken.
Yeah, fried chicken. You see them every U.S., American, Chinese restaurant has General Tso's chicken. I guarantee that.
Yeah. Or some variation.
Or some variation. It'll be orange chicken, but it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. It all depends on the sauce.
Exactly.
But anyway, what do you mean by chopping?
Yeah,
what do you do? Chop chicken?
Yeah, it's like a Cheeto chop. But chopping means to cut up normally with a knife in a straight up and down motion. Now, a lot of times people do it very fast, and it's usually primarily for chopping meat, for eating, like chopping at the kitchen. Yeah.
Or vegetables too, right?
Exactly. No, speaking of vegetables, here's an example sentence. Be careful chopping vegetables with a knife. It can be very dangerous. Watch out for your
especially
fingers.
if you cut over your hand.
If
you kind of have to do one of these, I think, when you chop
it's really
vegetables.
Skillful. Children do not do that. Yes.
You gotta be careful when you're learning how to do it. Anyway.
And here's another word that we just saw. Breading. Yeah, breading is what we see on many of the fried chicken we mentioned, such as the General Tso's chicken, orange chicken. It's the crispy bread that has a crunchy taste on the outside of the chicken, which makes it so good, by the way, I think.
Yeah, and I think you can make it like in different ways. You can use kind of little breadcrumbs, or you can use a batter.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah, I think see it both. Yeah, see both.
I think General Tso's use batter, but I'm not sure. I've never cooked it.
Hard to say.
Yeah, but anyway, the fried chicken, as we just said, is then coated in a thick sauce that's both sweet and spicy. Yeah, so coated. When we say it's coated, that doesn't mean we put a coat on the chicken. But it does mean we put the sauce on the chicken and kind of toss it in the sauce until the sauce covers every part of it. So it's like shiny, it's dark, and it's very it looks very different. And the sauce kind of gets into the fried chicken. Yeah. And spicy here, when we say that it's sweet, you know what sweet means. It's like desserts. But spicy, the adjective, makes your mouth burn. So spicy food makes your mind think that you're eating something hot, and then your tongue, your lips, your throat, wherever it touches the spicy food can all start to feel hot. It can actually kind of hurt. You might even sweat, your nose can run. You have like things that are a little bit spicy, things that are really, really spicy. You know, it's all on a different scale. So chili peppers and other kind of peppers can make this happen. So does wasabi, that green kind of paste they have with sushi. I love wasabi. And black pepper. Black pepper on eggs is a really nice little spicy addition. Now, for an example, I had spicy Indian curry for lunch last week. It made me sneeze.
Oh, I love Indian food as well. The spice is just right, I think. Not too spicy, but depends.
It depends. If you go to India, I've heard that you can get a real bad time with the spice.
Anyway, that was too much for me, maybe. But anyway, it's sometimes said to have gotten its name from a Qing-era general, Zhou Zongtang, in referencing to General Tso's chicken.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so it came from a different era, a Qing era. So what does that mean?
Oh, now let's look at era. Era is a certain period of time. Now, an era typically lasts at least 10 years, but has no really set time number. It's just the time frame of a certain when things flow together. So it could be from 40 to 50 to 60 years as well. Now, it normally sets a time for when things are just about the same. The same different areas, like the 60s, the 70s, 80s, when things are common. So here's an example sentence. The 1960s were an era of peace in the United States.
Were they?
Well, broadly speaking, maybe.
We had the Cold War going on.
Oh, that's true. But
anyway, I mean, I guess we didn't have like all-out violent war.
I guess peace thinking, or try to end the war, maybe.
Okay. So anyway, we're talking about General Tso's chicken, which is this very special Chinese-American dish, and it was possibly named after Zhou Zongtang, this Qing-era general from the Qing dynasty. But the dish was created a long time after his death, however, so he couldn't have had anything to do with it. That means that, he probably didn't even know it existed. He didn't think like, oh, I want somebody to name some fried chicken after me after I die. So he didn't have anything to do with it. Means like he just didn't, it wasn't about him. But a long time after, we say a long time after or something long after, it shows that a lot of time has passed between one thing happening and the other, even though they're related. and that it's a little bit surprising because of how much time. So, for example, this writer was only awarded for her book a long time after she released it. So yeah, you would expect it to happen sooner. So if you're talking about General Tso's chicken being related to this general, you might expect that it was made up, before he died, or at least closer to his death.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. So I know a lot of artists are like that too. When they pass away, something is like, it's his works for general. That's what I was thinking right there.
Yeah. Now, what's some other dishes that we have in Chinese American restaurants?
Oh, that's a good one. Now, one famous one you have is chop suey. Is another famous dish. A great name, by the way. Yeah.
I always think of one of my favorite songs from junior high. Anyway, so what is chop suey? Chop suey is a mix of various ingredients. This mix of various ingredients is believed to have come from 杂水, a dish from Guangdong. Okay, yeah, it sounds a little bit similar. I guess if you didn't know Chinese and you heard somebody say 杂水, you might think they were saying something like chop suey or chop suey. It might have changed over time. Now, when we're talking about ingredients, we mean that these are kind of food things that we use to make some other kind of food or a handmade mixture. So things that are usually used as only ingredients are things like flour and sugar and salt and oil. But if you want to add in vegetables, meat, and sauce into the same dish, those are also ingredients. As long as they're put into a dish together to make up that dish, it is an ingredient. A recipe, or directions on how to cook, will usually tell you what ingredients you need and how much of them you need. So for example, Annie carefully measured the ingredients for her cake into the bowl and mixed them together.
Interesting. Yes, mix them.
Yep.
So it's also said that a chef invented it when he combined leftovers for customers at closing time. Yeah, so different.
Sounds legit.
Could be. Yeah, it sounds interesting. Yeah, maybe. But anyway, a chef is a professional cook. That's normally one in a restaurant, and the chef is in charge of a kitchen. It's like the boss of the kitchen. Yeah. Now, combine means to mix certain things together. For example, in a hot pot, we combine a lot of things into the same pot.
Yeah. Ingredients.
Exactly. Or combining colors, combining clay of everything and making something new. So a chef is a professional cook, as I mentioned, normally in a restaurant. And combining, remember, that's just putting two different things and adding things together.
So you can combine other things besides food too, right?
Yeah, you can. You can combine colors. Here's an example sentence like, Steve combined all the color paints together to make black.
Right. But we aren't really sure where a lot of these dishes came from. As the article says, whichever story is true, though, we don't know. Yeah, so what do we mean? What's this whichever word? Let's find that out right now. All right, when we talk about a word like whichever, when we talk about that, we mean which one out of several choices. That's why we add ever onto it. When you add an ever onto a WH word or question word, that means that you're saying the final choice between those things isn't that important, and no matter what you do, the result is going to be the same. So whichever team wins will go play in the finals. It means no matter which team wins, they will go to the finals. Or if you say wherever you'd like to go for vacation, just tell me. It means I don't really care and it's okay with me wherever you want to go. Or whenever you need a friend, I'm here for you. It means that it doesn't matter when you call me, I will come here and I will be here for you as your friend. Now that's what you get when you can also have however, whatever. Whatever is something we say kind of a lot when we're mad at somebody, whatever. But yeah, those kind of words with the ever, those are really useful for that purpose.
All right, so according to the article, of course, it would be a crime not to mention fortune cookies.
Of
course. The
most
basic thing that we see from Chinese takeout food or Chinese food.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Now, to be a crime to do something, that's an interesting word phrase. That means to be wrong to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's used as a very exaggerated way of saying, don't do that. It's the pocket phrase go of the day, so let's watch it.
Pocket phrase go!
哎呀，阿基拉，我本人呢，为了庆祝跟志玲姐姐结婚了，我的师弟们特别唱了一首歌，还找我们两个拍了好漂亮的 MV。哎呀，你们要是没有去看呢，就真的是你们的损失了。It's a crime not to watch our music video。哎呀，志玲姐姐穿上这个高级定制服，说多美有多美，里面看简直就是天诛地灭了。It's a crime， 就是犯罪啊。所以说了，我们说 it's a crime to do something， 就表示做这件事呢是大错特错啦。所以你还不赶快去 YouTube 上面欣赏一下啦。
So going back to the phrase, it's a crime to do something, you can actually say it as it's a crime not to do something. So there's two different phrases of how you can use it. So for example, fashion-wise, you can say it's a crime to wear a certain color. For example, I'm not sure, maybe
brown with pink?
Yeah, brown with pink. It depends on how you're looking at it. But in fashion taste, maybe it could be a bow tie with some shorts or something like that. It's a crime to wear.
That sounds cute to me. But anyway, I mean, you know, everybody's got different things.
Yeah,
but a crime not to do something?
But a crime not to do something. It's a crime not to go to the baseball game this afternoon. We're playing in the championship game.
Oh, okay.
We have to go there. Yeah.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
I see. All right. So what else have we got in this sentence? What else are we talking about?
Exactly. So also we hear mention means to point out. Yeah, so it means to talk about something. It's more important as we feel we have to put it in there. It is something to note in our minds to not forget. Like I'll mention to you that our teaching session is 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So here's another one to use mention. Here's an example sentence. Please mention to your parents that you will be leaving the school on a field trip next week.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you have to get their permission, but you could also just mention it to them, I suppose. Anyway, so it would be a crime not to mention them. Means we have to talk about fortune cookies because they're really important.
Yeah.
Now, these are served after a meal at almost every Chinese restaurant in the U.S.
Yeah, fortune cookies everywhere. Now, they have a small strip of paper inside them on which a prediction about the future is printed. Yeah, for example, you're going to find your true love next year, or you'll have great success in the field of your endeavors, your whatever career you want to do. Yeah. So it's interesting what you can find. And some people really take those into consideration, you know. They'll have numbers and colors.
They also have they have a string of lucky numbers on the back too. Sometimes they don't even say things about the future. Sometimes they just say things that are supposed to sound wise or smart, but they often don't. And at least they're free. You don't get charged for them. They're a delicious little treat at the end of the meal. And inside them, of course, is a strip of paper. Now, strip here is like a piece of paper or fabric that's long and thin. It's usually just enough of it to use for something small or to write just a few words on. You can also talk about other long and thin things as being a strip. For example, if you get some tape off of a roll, that's a strip of tape. Or if you see a very narrow road that's made out of dirt, you could say it's a strip of dirt. Or a bandage. They come in strips. You could say a strip of bandages.
Yeah, strips of all sorts.
If we want to talk about an example sentence for strip, here's one for you. I pulled off a strip of tape and put it on the back of my paper so that I could stick it to the wall.
Now above we saw the word prediction. Now prediction means to make an educated guess. Now it is more scientific as we have more knowledge in terms of the clues to help us figure out something, whereas a guess is more of just throwing something out there like, oh, I think tomorrow is going to be a great day or something without having actually things to back you up. So I guess a prediction
could be something kind of like, I don't know, that the world is going to get hotter?
Like who's going to be the next president if you look at the current numbers.
Right, exactly.
One of these numbers, they have something to back you up to actually make that guess.
All right. So I guess that's what we've got today. We've gone through chop suey, General Tso's chicken, fortune cookies. You can also get other kinds of Chinese food or Chinese American food. Like you can get fried rice, which is really good. You can get, let me think, pork lo mein.
Oh yeah, fried. Yeah,
there's
a lot of fried
lot.
things.
And they often have Cantonese names. That's why they sound so strange.
Some desserts too.
Yep. So that's all the time we have. I hope that we got your appetite up a little bit. Maybe you'd be willing to try some Chinese American food. But right now we're gonna go to our second days for you chat. Okay, our chat question for today. If you were making Taiwanese food for an American friend, lucky friend, what would you make for them? What do you think they would like?
Oh my God, I think the first thing I would make would just be dumplings because it's very cultural. Yeah, you just rolling the dumplings, putting in the pork, stuffing inside.
Is it hard to do?
I've done it when I was little with my mom, but I don't think so. But I think it's just the experience of kind of getting your hands on some Chinese food and making it like that with the most cultural thing you can think of, just dumplings. Yeah. What about you, Kat?
Well, I remember when I was back in the US and I was with some family, I made them sanbeiji. So I made, 3-cup chicken is what we call it in English. Now I don't eat meat anymore, so I would make sanbeigu, 3-cup mushrooms, but it's still really good. And it's actually very, very simple to make. Like, it just takes a few ingredients, you toss it in a pan, you mix it up, then you're done.
So quickly.
Yeah. And so it's really delicious, and it's very Taiwanese, and it appeals to a lot of people. I think it's a flavor that Americans would like. I think the thing I would not make them try quite yet is stinky tofu.
Yeah, or like pig blood or something like these, maybe a little
or
too...
duck blood. It's a little bit too weird for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they like some sweet things, like the rice crackers as well. I know those... muaji, and just sweet and salty, just some Taiwanese little small dishes of just some desserts. That'd be interesting, like nai huang bao or
for sure.
Like that.
And also the fruit that grows here. I think that's like really, really appealing.
Fengli su, the pineapple pastries.
Yeah, pineapple cakes or mango or guava.
It's very different.
Any of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so many good Taiwanese foods you could cook for American friends. I'm sure that they'd love most of them. Just probably not stinky tofu. But anyway, that's all the time that we have. Hopefully, we'll inspire you to go try some Chinese American food. Yeah. And till next time, I'm Kat.
I'm Ben.
See you next time.
Take care.
The story behind American Chinese restaurants. Much of the food served by Chinese American restaurants was created in the US, not China. For example, a popular menu item is General Tso's chicken. This dish is made by chopping up chicken into pieces and then breading and frying them. The fried chicken is then coated in a thick sauce that's both sweet and spicy. It's sometimes said to have gotten its name from a Qing-era general, Zuo Zongtang. The dish was created a long time after his death, however, so he couldn't have had anything to do with it. Chop suey is another famous dish. This mix of various ingredients is believed to have come from zashui, a dish from Guangdong. It's also said that a chef invented it when he combined leftovers for customers at closing time. Whichever story is true, though, we don't know. Of course, it would be a crime not to mention fortune cookies. These are served after a meal at almost every Chinese restaurant in the US. They have a small strip of paper inside them, on which a prediction about the future is printed.
Vocabulary Review. Chop. Pat used a knife to chop up some meat for his dinner. Spicy. Oh, this is too spicy for me. My mouth feels like it's on fire. Ingredient. I have all the ingredients to make a chocolate cake. Let's mix them together and start baking. Combine. This delicious drink is made by combining tea, milk, and sugar in 1 cup. Mention. My friend doesn't talk about his parents much, though he mentions them sometimes. Strip. I cut the piece of paper into long strips with scissors.
智慧小补帖
Era. Chef. Prediction.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net